If you are into digital electronics or maybe even philosophy, you might recognize the name Boole, as in George Boole, the mathematician. He laid out quite a few rules about logic. So we're going to actually use his rules here about logic to make comparisons among variables, and these comparisons are going to help guide the flow or control the flow of our code. So let's see how we can begin to do that. And it all starts with the Boolean or bool type of variable. For example, if I type, let's say, test, some variable name, test, equals true, right? And so you'll see that I'm putting true in as a capital T, right? And then lowercase rue, and then without quotes. I do not mean this to be a string, so I'm not going to use quotes here. If I hit enter, you'll see that test comes up as type bool. So test is a Boolean variable, and its contents are true. And you'll see that true is also a key word. It lights up in a different color. And same thing, I can overwrite that. I can say test equals false, as you might imagine. False is a keyword, capital F, lowercase a l s e. And then I can overwrite that, and now in the variable explorer I have test is still of type bool, and now its contents are false. So this is another variable type, and it's a Boolean type, and it's either true or false, and this is related to digital electronics, 1 or 0. So what I can begin to play with these kinds of things. Like I could say let's call two tests, like um, or let's compare variables. For example, like let's say I have test equals, and then maybe I can say 2 equals 2. And what this is doing is it's testing, is 2 equal to 2? Well, 2 is equal to 2. So that's going to in parentheses there, that's going to evaluate to true, and then that's going to store true via the assignment statement as test. So let's check that out. Yes. So you'll see now that test is equal to true. So you'll also notice a couple things that in particular I'm using a double equal sign to compare. So I'm just going to write that down over here in the editor for notes. So these are comparison operators. Comparison operators. And one comparison operator that we can have is equals equals. And that means is equals to. You can think of that as is equals to. So that's different than the single equal sign. The single equal sign was an assignment statement. This is one of the most common errors I see in student programs, is using a double equal sign instead of a single equal sign, and vice versa. If I wanted to compare, let's say, the numbers 2 and 3, so now I'm asking, is 2 equal to 3, right? And of course that's false. And so this is going to then store via the single equal sign false into test. And you'll see test now is equal to false. Now this is kind of silly to be comparing numbers, right? We know that 2 is not equal to 3 and so forth. But what you might have is like two variables like spam equals 2. Maybe spam was like inputted from the user. So when you're writing the code, you don't know what spam is going to be equal to. And then maybe like eggs is equal to 3, right? And again, maybe that was an input from the user, so you don't know what eggs is equal to. And now you make a comparison. Spam equals eggs, right? Is spam equal to eggs? And it returns, of course, false, right? Because 2 is not equal to 3. And again, we can store that as something. We can say test equals, and then I like to put parentheses around it. I don't know if you need it, but spam equals eggs, right? And remember, the double equal sign is like is equals to, like you're asking a question, right? So test equals, is spam equal to eggs? So now test is false. Right? Okay, so that's the double equal sign. That you can take that to mean is equals to. Now we have the kind of the opposite of that is not equals to, which is an exclamation point followed by an equals sign. So let's test this thing out. We can say, just going to clear the command window or the console. And we can start very basic. We can say, is 2 not equal to 3? That's true. 2 is not equal to 3. Remember, spam is 2 and eggs is 3. So I can ask, is spam not equal to eggs? That's true. Spam is not equal to eggs, and I can save that as a variable. Test equals, okay, spam not equal, not equal to eggs. So in the parentheses, spam not equals to eggs will be evaluated first. That's true. 2 is not equal to 3. And then that true gets stored into test. So test would become a Boolean variable, and it's storing the Boolean value true. Okay, so you can imagine there are other comparison operators like less than, right? Less than, which is the sign that you would think it is. So we can use these things like in our code. Maybe previously we were asking the user about the user's age, and we could execute some code if the user inputs an age that's greater than a number, or we could execute some code if the user inputs an age that's less than some number, right? So we can use the less than, we can use the greater than sign. Less than or equals to is less than followed by an equals sign. Less than or equals to. And then, of course, as you might imagine, we can have greater than or equal to. Right. All right. And these things work on strings as well. For example, if I had a string that was hello, right, and if I wanted to test if that was equal to hello, right? Of course, those are equal. They're identical strings, so the result is true. But you can imagine, or maybe you can't, maybe you're not sure, is hello undercase, or lowercase, excuse me, I was going to say underscore, is hello lowercase equal to hello uppercase? No, those are not true. Case matters in programming, so that's false. You could say something like, goat equals Tom Brady. Oh, did you see that one coming? And so we have false. The computer does not believe that goat and Tom Brady are the same. Right? But we can say, is goat not equal to Tom Brady? True. Okay, because goat is not the same string as Tom Brady. You might be interested, is 42 equal to 42.0? Excuse me. Oh, look at I need not an assignment statement. I need is equals to double equal sign. And it's true. So Python here is evaluating floats and integers as kind of the same thing when it makes a comparison. But you might ask it, is 42 equal to the string 42? I need a double equal sign there. And that will give us false. So Python is smart in that it knows like numerical data. It considers floats and integers the same when it's making this comparison, but it does not consider strings to be the same. All right, just a couple more tests. We'll get less than and greater than in here. So like 10 is less than 100. True, right? And you might ask it, is 42 less than 42? Is that true? No, certainly not, right? And so regarding the ages, I was I was referring to last time, we could use the input function to ask somebody age, right? So we can say something like my age equals input, please enter your age. Okay, now when you're writing the program, you have no idea what the user is going to enter as his or her age. So I'm just going to execute that line. That should be a single quote there. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to execute that line, and there it is. Please enter your age. So now I have no idea what I'm going to enter. So, maybe the user enters 21, and then in my code, maybe this is like a voting website, and so I want to make sure that the user is over or equal to 18. I might say, is my age greater than or equal to 18? Okay, and oh, right. So I've got to. Remember that my age is now a string, and so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to compare a string with an integer. So it doesn't know how to do that. So what I have to do is first convert the string to an integer or a floating point. So I'll just say int my age. Is that greater than or equal to 18? And it evaluates to true. So then, if this is like a voting website, then being that the user is greater than or equal to 18 years of age, then that would do one thing on my computer program, like load up some sort of voting registration thing. Otherwise, maybe it evaluates to false, like if I run this my age thing again, and I enter my age as like 16, and then I make that comparison, right? Now it evaluates to false. And so in that case, maybe I want my program to like kick the user out or something, or say, come back in 2 years or something like that, right? So this should give you a little bit of an idea of how we can start to use these Boolean data types and these comparison operators to direct the flow of our code. Thank you.